What's going on, my babies? Welcome back to another episode of Can of Heaven. As always, I apologize for any noises in the background in advance and anything of that nature. And I like to start these off with a disclaimer by stating that these are for entertainment purposes only. To always do your own research, to come to your own conclusions, to have your own answers, and I believe in your ability to do so. And in today's episode, as you can already tell, if you've been here for a while, if you're a recurring baby, so know that this episode is going to be about manifestation. And if you're new, thanks for tuning in and tapping in. I appreciate you. And, hit that follow, hit that sub. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about manifestation. And the reason I want to be talking about manifestation is because you can say something one way, doesn't mean that somebody's going to interpret it that way. So this whole month of November, I'm only going to be talking about manifestation just because I want it to click into place for you. And I want to be able to help you get to a place where you understand what I'm talking about. So, what's manifesting? Manifesting is bringing something from the ether into reality. Everything is in the ether until it's in reality. Just like, I like to use this example that spiritual people or religious people believe that God created us, because how do you pull nothing, or how do you pull something out of nothing? There's a spiritual element to that, which is the power of creation. And the power of creation is something that we can all recognize as something that's very, very amazing. And it's something that we ourselves cannot explain. And because of that, or because of that same reasoning, I can't necessarily explain to you how I'm able to pull something from nothing. Right? Like, we all have the God conscious stream. We are all conscious, recognizing that we are a thing. And I don't know if my sweater has that ability. So, how do you pull something from nothing? Right? What is manifesting? Manifesting is pulling something from nothing. It's the power of creation. So, how do you do that? Well, I'm going to make it very, 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 very simple. Very simple. You know what you want. Everybody knows what they want. Everybody thinks about the things that they want. Most people are fantasizing about the things that they want, and then boom, they just happen. Why? Because they were fantasizing about it. And that's the power of creation. Your mind is using your wavelength, your thoughts, to ride the wave of your emotions. If you have a tendency to sit there in your car, you get in your car, you're driving home from work, wherever you were, and then boom, you're at home, and you're like, how did I even get home? Most likely you were doing that unconsciously, right? Most people are not conscious of their own power of creation. So most of the time, people are consciously creating without realizing that they're doing it. And other people, like, if you listen to Lil Baby, he talks about this a lot in his songs, about how he's consciously creating more money, creating more revenue for himself. And because of the way that this world is set up for, I guess, for a society, right? We have a set of understandings. Like, we understand that good is good, and we understand that bad is not good, when both is just a possibility. And so it puts a little bit of a fog to the way that we see the world, because we don't see the world as this, like, really magical place. Because bad things happen a lot, because we label these bad things as really bad, which obviously I'm not here to judge or be like, oh yeah, that's bad, or yeah, that's good, because who cares? And obviously, caring is a good thing, but we don't, like, we don't see correctly. And because of that reason, I can't just sit here and tell you the definition of manifesting and it's just gonna click for you. Because majority of the time, we have to unlearn things that we've learned. And the reason for that is because you don't see clearly if you are constantly using other people's feedback, or if you're constantly using the world's mirroring energy of you to learn from it, right? If you're learning from everything except for yourself, this is why a lot of people who manifest tell you to meditate. Because meditation gives and brings you revelations that you otherwise would not have gotten to. Because you don't sit down long enough to just allow yourself to think. Or allow yourself to just sit there and be like, curious, I'm curious. Most people are not curious nowadays, especially into their, well, I say nowadays, I mean in time. Most people, when you get to a certain age, you're not curious anymore. Because you think that there's nothing to be curious about. Yes, there's obviously things that you don't know, but you're not really curious enough to go find out. And the reason for that is because it doesn't pique your interest. Most people are not really worried about the things that don't concern them. And there's some people who care a lot about the things that don't concern them. So, everything is a possibility. Keep that in mind. Everything is a possibility, and for that reason, those individuals have to unlearn what they've learned in order to switch sides, right? So, for example, if I was a light switch, or better yet, let's take the zipper, for example. If it started at the base of my sweater and zipped up, in order for me to unzip it, it would have to go the other direction. And how do you go the other direction? It's to undo what it was zipping, right? It undoes the zipper. So, that's basically what most people have to go through in order to understand what manifestation is. And some people, they just understand it if you repetitively explain it to them in different ways. And so that's why I want to talk about what manifesting is repeatedly, just because it'll be a lot easier to just have a revelation from something that you're listening to, rather than to try to unlearn something that you've previously learned for the sake of unlearning it for the sake of learning something new in its place, which is really complicated and it takes a lot of time. It's very time consuming and it's very effortful. And, most people are not willing to put effort into the things that don't serve them. So, how do you manifest? Daydream. That's your power of creation. Your power of creation is your thoughts and the emotions that spring from your thoughts. Most people, or I always say most people, but it's not most people. Some people, and, sorry about my words. I'm trying to get to a good place where I'm able to explain things in a very graspable and tangible way. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm working on it and it's slowly getting better. So, don't come at me. I'm doing my best. Besides that, when you are daydreaming, you are using the power of creation. The power of creation is that nothing, pulling something from that nothing. And you could think any single scenario that you've ever wanted to think. I can picture a dinosaur in my brain. I can hear the word dinosaur in my brain. I can hear other people's voices in my head if I so choose to. I can hear my own voice in my head if I so choose to. I can see words in my head if I choose to. That is your power of creation. And sometimes when you have, this is where I bring that learning into, this overlapping understanding of what manifestation is. So the reason I say you have to unlearn a lot of things is because, for example, if you imagine your mom telling you that she's proud of you and that's what you're trying to manifest, and then you think of that thought and what you've learned is to not expect that because that has never happened. And so you're disappointed because you've thought about that for so long and it's never happened. And so what that thought springs up out of you is disappointment and sadness. Then most likely you're going to have to unlearn to expect that outcome. And to unlearn that expected outcome is a lot difficult. It's a lot more difficult than if you just didn't care about that specific thing, right? It's a lot harder to unlearn something than it is to just go a different route. And that's what I mean by, most people have to unlearn shit to get to the other side. And when you are manifesting, most of the time, if you have a specific manifestation that you're really doubtful of, then it's going to be hard to unlearn that doubt. But that doubt is the only thing that's stopping you from getting to that manifestation. If you're like, I want to win the lottery, and then you think and you imagine yourself going and buying a ticket, in your brain, you're already having these preconceived ideas. This is not going to happen for me. This is never going to happen. How many people go and buy this ticket and how many people lose? I'm going to be one of those people. Just because I think that this is going to happen for me doesn't mean that it's the reality of my circumstances, which we have been trained as human beings through our society to expect. Why? Because not everything is perfect, right? But because not everything is perfect, then we create this good and bad scenario. We say, well, if I don't win, this is going to be bad. And if I do win, this is going to be good. And you are feeling bad because you're like, well, I already know what I'm going to feel. What I'm going to feel, my expected outcome is this bad feeling. So when you go, even if you trick yourself and you're like, no, I feel good, I feel it. Today's the day I'm going to win. If you feel it, but you don't actually realize and believe that to be true, it's not going to happen. Why? Because your power of manifestation is the unconscious feelings that you're experiencing due to your beliefs, due to your thoughts, the pattern of your thoughts. Most people, when they have something really bad happen to them, they expect disappointment. They expect negativity. They expect things to never go their way. They expect the worst rather than to expect the best. Because expecting the best and then getting the worst is ultimately more hurtful than to just expect the worst and get the worst, because then there's no disappointment. I already knew this was going to happen, right? That's your power of creation. Your power of creation is assuming that these things are going to happen for you or to you, and you get to choose. You get to choose whether or not you consciously have the power of creation and to direct that in your particular way. It's like our mind is like a ball of foil. You can undo the foil, but it's going to take a lot of effort and for you to be gentle. And then once you undo the foil, you can shape it and form it into anything that you want. But do you want to do that? Most of the time, people don't give a shit to do that. But if you do choose that route, then that route is a lot more rewarding. And it gets you to what you wanted to see. So your mind, this power of creation is it's a construction of a bunch of different things. It's like having this Lego house, and every single brick that you put onto this Lego house really matters. And even if you have one that's missing, I'm not going to say that it matters like an extreme amount, but it matters a decent amount. Because then it's not complete. So how do you manifest? It's a multitude of different things that you have to understand. You have to understand that your belief is going to hold that manifestation for you. So your belief will create your next step in life, your next step in your journey, your next step in whatever. So I'm just going to wrap this up with the best way that I can explain this. Your belief is what your manifestation will be. If you believe that you are a piece of shit, you will never try to be better than who you are right now. Why? Because you believe you are a piece of shit. So why bother? Why try? If I know I'm just going to end up disappointing myself. Your belief will create the next thing for you. Your belief is what is creating something from nothing. So how do you get to that next step? What do you believe right now? Do you believe that anything is possible? Do you believe in the open-mindedness of yourself, of the world, of the possibilities that the world holds? Because it holds a lot of possibilities. There used to be dinosaurs on this planet, and now I'm a human being. Like, there's so much shit that we don't know. And for me to identify with this human trait of like, I do know what's going on. I do know. I know that if I go to work, my boss will actually pay me a decent amount. That's not how that works. You know what I mean? So keep an open mind. Your beliefs are what is going to create that next step for you. The only reason I say that is because your beliefs go hand in hand with how you're feeling. If you're somebody who's like, I believe everything happens for a reason, then you're probably somebody who holds a lot of values. You're probably somebody who takes shit and holds it like a champ. You're probably somebody who gets beat to the ground and gets right back up. Because you know that it's just something that happens. It's just a possibility in this endless world of possibilities. And it shouldn't be labeled a bad thing. Because it's allowing you, it's enabling you, I combine those words, it's allowing you to experience something you've never experienced before. And your power of creation stems from, how do you feel right now? Do you feel like $1 million is something that's possible for you? Or do you not believe that? Do you feel like whatever happens to you happens for a reason? Or do you not see that being true at all? Do you believe that the people around you genuinely do care about you and genuinely do have your back? Or do you not believe that? And you feel lonely and you want to manifest community, but you don't even believe that the people around you have your back. So when you go into this new, right, this creation, right, you're going into your fantasy with these ideas, these preconceived ideas that are in your player character right now. It's a part of your code, it's a part of your construction. Your beliefs are the construction that make you you. So you have to erase what makes you you, and that creates an identity crisis. Once you have that identity crisis, you come out and you say, okay, this is who I want to be. We're going to try to be this person now. And, some people are not going to like this new person. Some people are going to love this new person. And it's not my concern to worry about whether they love it or hate it, because that's just another possibility. And I want to be this person, and this person wants to manifest this, and this person is not going to get stopped. And once you get to that point, you can just pull shit out of thin air. Obviously not like literally, but obviously, but you know what I mean, like, that's where everything gets a lot easier. In the sense of creation, and in the sense of your power. Your beliefs create your ability to create. And if you're somebody who believes that you ain't shit, and how are you going to manifest if you have never manifested a day in your life? You probably already have subconsciously, and it's that momentum that you've built through that belief. Most of the time we have momentum built from other beliefs that we have to slow down, and it's not super easy to slow it down. And there's one particular example that I really enjoy. And it's this metaphor that if you're pushing a boulder up a mountain, that's going to be a lot harder than if you just let the boulder roll down the mountain. Why? Because momentum. It's harder to push against gravity than it is to just allow gravity to do the work for you. And most of the time, you're allowing gravity to do the work for you, you're just doing it in the wrong direction. And if you want to manifest, you need to put gravity in the place where you want to manifest. Like if you're like, I want this dream car, then put gravity on that dream car. And sit there and imagine what it would be like. Imagine your life with this dream car. Close your eyes, imagine it. And boom. just allow that good feeling to arise from that manifestation. Because most of the time you want something because it's going to make you feel good, or you think it's going to make you feel good. So feel those emotions right here, right now. And you imagine what your life would be like with this amazing car, and you're like, wow, I would feel so proud of myself because I did that. I would feel so happy. I would feel so excited because I'd love driving. I would feel so happy because it would be a year, of this year's make and model, or whatever the case is, and feel those feelings now. And that will create the gravity for you. That will create momentum for you. Those emotions will create momentum for you. And the more you create momentum towards that good thing, the more it happens. It's kind of like the best way that I can describe manifestation is like a game of tug of war. How much momentum do you have in the side that you are going to get this thing? Do you have a lot of momentum pulling you that way that you know you're going to get it? You don't know when, you don't know how, you know that you're going to get it though. Or is it being pulled in the direction that's like, nope, you're not getting it? Which side is winning? And once that side is winning, release that other side. It's not going to be super duper easy, obviously, because we have to unlearn things that we've learned. But it's that simple of an understanding. You have to really believe that you're going to get this thing, because you are going to get this thing. So feel these good emotions, because these good emotions will lead you to believing it more and more and more. And by the time you realize, it falls into your lap because you just felt good. You just felt good because you're like, wow, imagine this car. Imagine this dream house. Imagine this. And you're just feeling good. That good feeling will attract you to the thing, or it will magnetize that thing towards you. You are feeling good. So the things you want are also a good feeling, and you magnetize those things because your brain, your power of creation, already knows what you want. And it knows that if I had this car, I'd feel like I'm hot shit. So I'm gonna feel like hot shit right now. And then boom, by the time I have this car, I already feel like hot shit. So I already knew this was gonna happen for me. And something that also catches my attention, it's also 1:11 on my clock while I'm recording this. And if you don't know, 111 is the manifesting number. Or at least for me, it's my manifesting number. So besides that, one of the things that really caught my attention was that Ariana Grande talked about how she was going to be rich, how she was going to be famous, how she was going to make music, and how a lot of people at her schools really disliked her because they thought that she was bratty and she was rude and blah blah blah. And there she is doing exactly what she wants. When nobody's stopping her. Why? Because people are going to like her, some people are going to hate her. That's just possibilities. And you're going to be the good guy to some people's stories. You're going to be the bad guy to some people's stories. So who cares? Live your life, do you, be happy, and get what you want. And if what you want is, I don't know, to make money, then go out and make money. You know what I mean? Like, just do you, don't care about what people have to say, and be happy. Because the only thing that matters is your peace. Your peace of mind, your peace of home, your peace of earth. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna end this here. I hope that this was helpful in any way, shape, and form, and that you have a good day, good night, whenever you're listening, because obviously I don't know your life. Take everything that I say with a grain of salt because I don't know your life. So, with that being said, I upload Mondays and Fridays at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, and if this is something that you are enjoying, I recommend following or subbing, depending on what platform you are. I upload these to all podcast platforms, and I upload this to YouTube. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of them. And yeah, thanks for tuning in and tapping in. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.